Hey everyone, it's Gina. This is Seer Sessions. Today I have a session that I'm sharing with you, one where I was the client and Soulful Stephanie is the hypnotist. Steph led me on a journey right to the red planet. I wanted to go there just to pause on my journey of learning and discovering about consciousness and what we're doing in the transcendental space. And because I've been to the red planet, if you've tuned in the last couple sessions I've shared, I've been on the red planet. I'm going to be spending more time and sharing more about my experiences on the red planet. So I wanted to just pause and ask some questions, like what exactly is my role on the red planet? Just general questions about the planet, about this community on that planet. And then, of course, I ask about my fears and the doubts that I have about talking about this publicly. So I dive into those fears and those doubts. And then, of course, I get into the doubts around what is this? And am I making it all up? I really try not taking myself so seriously. So I do that here as well. And it's honestly one way that I can share it. That's where the session actually starts today. But what I'm going to share with you in the recording is just a little bit of a conversation going into this, because I was taking a pause from just the itinerary of things that I want to explore in the trance space in other lifetimes. I wanted to pause and just ask some questions. And I know Steph had some questions as well. And that is where we begin. Here we go. Interacted. Because I don't know if I've shared this with you. Well, maybe I'll just say this even for the podcast's sake, and then we can get into it. I've been having experiences on the red planet since 2020. And in 2022 or 2023, I don't remember, it was the summer. It was the summer of 23. I was doing a lot of meditation and like ancestor stuff, connecting to the earth stuff. I was a part of this program. And I would have these experiences with the ancestor that's on the council and with Baron, but we weren't on the red planet. So I started interacting with those two summer of 23. First time I had an experience on the red planet was summer of 2020. And then I think it was last summer, so summer of 24, when I figured out, oh, Baron is on the red planet. I had been having experiences on the red planet and experiences with the council, but on a spaceship, kind of. And then I would get brief glimpses, and I would wake up in the morning and be like, what was that? And you just have like pictures, and it's like barely enough to populate a little bit of a story where you can get interested, but then it's like, oh God, there's so much. So anyway, it's kind of a crazy. So I think it was a year ago. And so now it's summer of 2025. Wow. When I lay that out, honestly, 5 years ago, that feels like 15 years ago. So I sent you the email with some questions in there. Could you add a question? I'm curious what your role is with them, with me. Because yes, we're doing this and this is your role, but there's more of an energetic pull. I feel like there's more of a connection. How do you feel when I say that? Do you feel anything on your end?
I listened to your first ever in the 2020 that you did to the Red Planet with the Red Planet. I listened to that again. And what was wild, you brought it up today too. I did a past life regression and I was on this planet. I was levitating and I was just like alone, feeling exactly like you described in that well, all the time that you've talked about this planet. And what I was doing was studying other planets. We then descended to Earth, which was post up, like it was after an apocalypse of some kind. And that's when we were descending. We were all in pods. So we had symbols on the back of our necks indicating what gifts we had and or like what our job was. And mine was to communicate with other beings and other life forces, whether it's nature, animals, or people. So when I descended, it was Max and my youngest brother, and they were like holed up in some kind of like library or school. And we were like, listen, this is the end for Earth. Come with us. So when I listened to that, I was like writing everything down. So I was like, I
Oh,
can't believe it. They must be connected. And then, yeah, you brought it up just now that might be connected. So, but that was probably the coolest thing that's ever happened to me.
let's get into it. Okay.
On the count of three, you'll move through this door and back onto the red planet. One, holding the visual of this red planet in your mind's eye as you open the door. Two, feeling the planet's energy pull you back into its orbit as you cross the threshold. And three, arriving fully and firmly onto the sacred soil of the red planet as you ground into this surrounding. Take time to engage all your senses as you tune into the environment. And whenever you're ready, just let me know what details come through.
So I've talked about this in other lifetimes, but I kind of forgot about it. The landscape here it's like sand and rock, but all the structures are built on stilts because depending on the time of year and the winds, the sand can sometimes get to be drifts that are like 10 feet tall. And so the structures are kind of cool because they're up on stilts and they have these long stairways to get to the door, or like a flight of stairs or whatever to get to the door, maybe a little more than a flight. But depending on the time of year, you might not have to, you might be going up like 3 or 4 steps or 1 or 2 steps as opposed to 20 steps. It's kind of like a snow and a winter and not winter thing, but that's so cool.
It is cool.
So I'm walking toward, so the thing that I would always think was a tent is actually a rounded kind of building, I guess, structure, but it's up on stilts. And now I'm here where I have to go up like 15 steps to get to the door, where before there was so much sand around that it was almost like flat on the ground.
Mm,
What I'm looking at right now is something that I've seen, I can't even tell you how many times in meditation. I mean, I see this place a couple times a week, and sometimes I just go here and just look at this building, and it was always this sense of me walking toward this building and just feeling like a sense of confidence and a sense of home and a sense of belonging, but like a really comfortable belonging. Like I'm not trying to do anything or be anything. I don't walk around feeling like I have to prove things to people. And that energy just always feels so good to be in. And so sometimes in meditation, I've spontaneously started coming to this vision of me walking toward this kind of roundish, short, wide thing up on stilts. And it was to revel in the feeling of feeling that way, like at ease, like I belong. I'm not trying to do anything or be anything or explain anything. And now I know that, oh, that's where the council is.
mm,
It's connecting some dots for me.
yeah.
So I'm just walking toward it.
Okay. And while you're walking toward it, tuning into your feet as it presses in the sand, connecting to this planet. And while you do so, if you can say the first thing that comes to mind when considering if it has its own consciousness.
In a sense, it does, but not like us. It exists with intention
Mhm.
rather than having a consciousness that's aware, seeking, reflecting, changing, manipulating the environment. It just exists with intention, and it's to share. And the intention, okay, so it's like every planet exists with intention, and it's to hold, to give, to exchange, and not every planet is experienced like that, but to human attention and consciousness, and attention is where we focus, that is so powerful because these beings with kind of a more expanded awareness and consciousness are engaging positively, beneficially with the planet's intention, that that relationship just sustains itself. Okay, so last time when I said it's not an extraction, but a reflection or an amplification of the energy, that has something to do with it too.
Mhm.
Like that alignment of the planet's intention. Ah, and it's not about knowing what any particular planet's intention is, besides being used, even though that sounds bad, but experienced for the greater good of humanity. This wasn't the question, but it's an example to illustrate the point. On this planet, they're reflecting the energy, amplifying the energy, and because they're able to get a benefit out of that, they preserve that planet and whatever the materials are that they're using. And that's a reciprocal relationship, and that's what it's designed to be, and that's where people thrive and all that. But here, for example, there is incongruence, there's disharmony because it is an extraction. We're not in flow with the energy of this planet. The energy of this planet wants to hold us, wants to nourish us, wants to help us thrive, wants to take our earth suit when we're done with it and, make nutrients for other beings that are still alive on it. But in order to do that, we need to care for it. We need to look out for it and care for it, and not just your own backyard or your own city or someone's own country. It's to think about it as the entire planet.
Wow. Goosebumps everywhere.
Yeah, wow, that was more than I thought. I thought it was gonna be like, here's what this mineral does. It runs their refrigerators. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, great. Maybe, but it's such a metaphor too, of
Mhm.
stepping back and seeing how that energy flows. But that's always what I get from this counsel, even when it's a difficult question that I bring to them or to my higher self. It's always this stepping back and really seeing, like, here's the real energetics of it. And it has to be reciprocal on some way. And if it's not, it's just will eventually disintegrate. It will not be, it's not sustainable, so it will go away. And it's not we're bad because that's happening. It's just that's the result of the collective consciousness at this point.
Yeah.
Um, and so I can't change the world, but I can change my world. So what am I gonna do to be in alignment with that? And even though that seems small, shit, if everyone did that, if 1 out of 4 people did that, this world would change. This
Yeah.
world, it would be a totally different place.
Yep. Wow.
Steph, are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are you still
I
walking
heard like a
towards
oh, yeah, I heard like a click, and I was like, "Wait, am I alone?" Locked in my closet.
Is anybody out there?
Hello?
Well, speaking of that, when you are walking towards this structure or this dwelling that makes you feel completely accepted and confident, while you're walking towards it, how do you feel? Do you feel like you're connected to either other beings or to this planet? Are there any bits of loneliness that you're sensing?
So, I haven't this seems so obvious when I say this out loud, but I haven't ever been in an experience on the red planet and actually really tuned in with it like we're doing.
Mhm.
But when you said that, it's like, yes, I feel all those things like love and belonging and confidence and the excitement of wanting to create from that space.
Mm,
But I love this rock and this sand so much that in this moment, in this experience on the red planet, I've never had this before, but I wanna lay down and do snow angels and feel the grit on me, and this land out here that I live on too is so similar to the red planet in the sense of the shapes and, the low, long mountain ridges and the flat valleys between it, and, um, yeah, so to me, this is very whimsical, but it's a reflection, like, because I feel so positively about this place, about the people here. It's almost like the planet. I don't know how to explain this, but here's the example I'll give. Say there's a pack of feral street dogs. They all kind of seem the same. They all want to eat. They all want to, fulfill their primal urges, whatever that is. And they all kind of seem the same. And they all kind of seem like they're doing the same thing. But if you were to take one of them and bring them into your home, and I'm not saying this is what needs to happen, but this is, I've rescued dogs. A lot of people have, thankfully. But when you take that dog out of kind of the wild group mentality and you give them love and you show them attention and you have a desire to learn about them and communicate with them, that's what training is essentially. You're trying to learn the same language. You start to see they have a unique personality.
mhm.
And maybe you don't see that with just one dog, but if you've had multiple dogs or have multiple dogs at one time, you see that with the attention of a human and the intention and the care and the love, more blooms.
Yeah.
And so, even though on this planet, it's not like the reverence people have and the gratitude and the love they have for the planet, it's not like they're doing this on purpose. It's not witchy. It's not a religion or anything, but it's the way of life is just to see. We get so much benefit out of the materials on this planet. And in that you're not taking it for granted. So it's easy for the people on this planet to just have natural love and gratitude for it. And then with that, it's almost like the planet it doesn't have a sentience to it totally, but there is an opening, a deepening of the energetic connection and the communication and the exchange. And so being in alignment with a planet that exists with intention for good, and it's a reciprocity, and everyone's benefiting, and the use of that planet is actually leading to more care and more benefits for that planet and the people on the planet. That's what draws me to it too, is this pulse of exchange, like a really sustainable exchange.
Hmm.
So yeah, you can almost like feel the love from the planet itself, even though I don't necessarily think the planet is like, I love you. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's more a reflection, but it's not nothing. It's
Yeah.
still, but we often discount that. Oh, it's not. Okay. Oh, it's not just like I thought. Okay. It doesn't matter then. Or, oh, it's so small. It doesn't matter. And
Yeah.
it's like, no, that's actually the small steps you take to get to the big shifts. But we often forget the small steps or don't take them because they don't seem like a big deal.
Hmm. And do you think, depending on whose point of view you're looking through, let's say I had my very own sunglasses that I can hand you and you could see the world through my point of view, through my experiences and my soul's vision. If you were to put on my glasses, would I see the same things as you're seeing, as in like the architecture and the colors, or would it be different?
This is such a good question. I'm like, yes, yes, what? Okay, so hang on to that question
Okay.
because I have to move this stuff out of me before I'll get an answer to that.
Yeah.
And just in the last year, I've been on such a journey trying to understand consciousness and what is it and where are we going on these journeys and what are we experiencing? And I know that no one has the capital A answers to that. I know that, but I'm not necessarily looking for. I know that we don't have the answers to that. I don't think we're ever going to get them, but I need some way of comprehending it. I don't know what it is about me, but I need to know. I need to be able to ground these things into everyday life. There's so many spiritual people out there not making any progress. And we just and me too. I mean, and that's probably because I look back on my last, I know everything happens when it needs to, and I'm starting to even see why these things have happened the way they have. But when I look back on it, I see so much of myself where it's like I thought I didn't have control. I thought it wasn't up to me to take the action. I thought, oh, I can't wait until my life feels like X. And it's like, no one's going to make you feel that way but you.
Hmm.
And I think integration is actually doing the hard work to make these changes in our lives. And they can be brutal. So anyway, I've been on this journey, and part of me, I'm so split. It's either everything or nothing. It's either everything I've dreamed, everything I've experienced. There is a red planet. I can go there with my awareness. I have been going there for lifetimes. There is all of this. There are elves and fairies and all of it. All of it is true. But then there's just as much of me that's like, it's nothing. None of it matters. And that's terrifying. Like, that's worse to me. But then I think, if none of it matters and all of it's made up, all these experiences that feel so transcendental, so magic, if I'm really making those up, and I used to say this on Past Lives in the Divine, if I'm making this shit up, I'm almost even more impressed.
Hmm.
Going public with like red planet conversations and that sort of thing. Part of me is like, should I have pivoted to writing fiction of some sort? Or am I still in the spiritual realm? I don't know. Like, I don't know. If I was egotistical, so filled up with myself, I would probably be like, nope, this is me making all this shit up. But I think that in the spiritual community, a lot of us have been rattled and shaken and our confidence crushed because everything we've sensed our whole lives, we've been told we're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so we show up and it's like, have I constructed all of this so I can trust myself? Have I created spirit guides that feel so real to me just so I can move forward because I don't have the confidence or the perception or the life experience to say, yes, I am this powerful? And my way into that question is because oftentimes I hear spiritual people fine, but when I hear people who lead spiritual communities say things like, well, I wasn't sure, but then my spirit guides told me to do it. Or, I don't know, I have to ask my spirit guides. To me, it's it rubs me the wrong way. It feels like such a fucking cop out. Like, no one wants to take ownership. No one wants to take responsibility. We're all too scared to have our own fucking idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so we go, it's my spirit guide. And that rubs me the wrong way. And I'm far enough on my spiritual journey to go, that's not that person's problem. This is my problem. Why does this bother me so much? And it's because I feel that in myself. Sometimes I wonder, like, would my life just be easier if I would have just trusted myself, if I just trust the ideas that come to me that are true, that feel true and are good? So that's all the Gina stuff I had to get out of the way to try to answer that question.
All that you just said, if you believed without a shadow of a doubt in everything that comes through as soon as it does, do you feel you would stop exploring? And if your soul is on a journey of exploration, that healthy dose of skepticism and that grounded sense of belief might be what's pulling you forward.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And whether that's true or not, that belief on some level might prevent me from believing. So I keep exploring
Yep.
because this exploration is so fun to me. You're
Mhm.
so right. Because that's part of it where a lot of, I mean, it sounds so immature to me when I say it, but this life, the way most people live, bores me
Mhm.
to death. I find social media so boring.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, your lives, I would be depressed too. And it's like, I used to be there, but now I have a life like away from TV, away from the computer, away from social media, away from my work. And my
Mhm.
work is so interesting. It's like, that's what's so, I know I've said this on Past Lives in the Divine too. I'm almost more impressed if I'm making it up,
Mhm.
but also no one knows. We'll never know until we leave this body. If we even know then. I don't know. Maybe we won't even know then. But I would rather live in a way with beliefs and interests that build community, help me love myself and other people more, and help me to lead by example, because that to me is legacy, is how we leave people feeling. And in turn, does that change them so they can change other people in a way that's more compassionate and loving and pushes humanity in the right direction? I don't, I don't care. I do not care if anyone attributes it to me. I don't care about any of that. What I care about is to push people in the right direction, including myself.
Mhm.
And I have that dream and that desire for that exploration. And I'm curious enough and deep and varied enough that what looks like oversharing to me is sharing about 20% of what's really going on.
Yeah.
And so what is oversharing and juicy for other people to listen to isn't a big risk for me.
Mhm.
And which is why, and I've said this before, when people are like, "Oh, you're so brave for sharing." And it's like, you should hear the shit I don't share.
Yeah,
Like, like I've
me
got
too.
closets of skeletons. Closets, people. And I and so that actually puts me right where I need to be.
Yeah.
It's not about being right. It's about, and it's not about everyone should live like me. Well, live like me in the sense of find something you're interested in and do it. If you
Mhm.
need to get paid for it, try to get paid for it. But if you want to do it and don't wait for someone to give you permission to do it. And it's like I've been equipped with all this internal drama that whatever spills out of me when I have a microphone in front of me doesn't feel like I'm giving a lot, but it helps people a ton.
Yeah.
And I would rather live like that. Like that's the most important thing to me. But my consciousness keeps being pulled back to that question you first asked about perception. If you were there, would you experience the same thing?
Mhm.
And so I keep getting pulled to that, and I feel like there's a couple reasons why, but I just want to tune into that a little bit.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting is your perception of this place would be different,
Mhm.
but your perception of every place will be different from mine. If you're sitting beside me in my living room, we're going to have a lot of overlap, but in a place where we're going with our consciousness, it's saying, but what do you intend? If, for example, this question was specifically about Stephanie, is your intention to experience the red planet with physical senses? Or is your intention to experience the love, the lightness, the compassion, the creativity, the passion, the community, the camaraderie? Then you would be looking for a different experience. Or not. You could try it. You'll never know until you try it.
Yeah.
But wherever you go, go with intention and you'll get what you're searching for.
Amazing.
Haha. And then to go back to what I was talking about before we came back to this question, what it's kind of showing me is like when it comes to leading and living in a way where the energetic legacy you're leaving is one that you appreciate, to know that all you can do is control your actions and monitor your impact, knowing that no matter what we do in a leadership role, and I'm not talking, you could be leading you and your friend, you could be leading you and your partner. It doesn't have to be a big group, but to know that we can do everything to the best that we can, but they still have their own lenses, their own perception, their own awareness, their own intentions, their own desires, their own history. And so it's this reminder of, yes, and remember that perspective is very different based on so many factors in one person. So as we're leading in a way that leaves a positive legacy among those that we touch, whether it's one interaction or a lifetime of interactions, to know, don't get so twisted about what the other people are doing or thinking. Focus on yourself because we'll never know. We'll never know what's in their world.
Mhm.
Because will Stephanie or anyone be able to be in this chair, in this body, experiencing the red planet from my point of view? No, that's only for me.
Mhm.
But then I get excited about it makes me cherish it because no one can cherish it like I can or am. And it makes me get so curious about what is your red planet, so to
Mhm.
speak. Where is your place where you feel like your higher self? Oh my God, this is, hang on, it's coming to me. Oh my God. Okay. So I'm so glad the fucking vision of my podcast is coming together. We're 9 days from launch. What this is about is past life regression. A lot of times the idea is, how do you want to feel? Let's go to a lifetime where you're feeling that way. That's great. We should still do that. What's bothering you? Let's go to the root of this.
Mhm.
I think there's a better way, but if you're driven to explore that way, yeah, go for it. And what's next? What the red planet is teaching me, what my higher self is teaching me. Why don't we ask to go to the life where we were our highest and best self?
Yeah.
So, yes, Gina, share what works for you to gain wisdom and love from your higher self. But in the other lifetime experience, maybe the prompt is, what's your red planet life? And what I mean is like my red planet life is the life where I'm closest to the consciousness that is my higher self. That is the most divine aspect of me. And so that's the journey. That's what I'm showing.
Yeah.
I'm showing I believe this is a part of me. It might look fucked up the way I'm getting there, but I believe it on some level it's working. And so to believe or trust the knowledge that's coming and to trust that as it builds and nourishes me, it will naturally overflow to other people. And even in higher and greater ways than past lives and the divine ever did, just because we're expanding the focus. It's not just hypnosis, it's not just past lives, it's the transcendental space and anything you want to explore there, whether it was a different dream or another planet or your higher self or your ancestors or another lifetime or whatever.
And if you were to focus on those glasses that I mentioned earlier, having that exact thought in mind, the reason it came up is because the planet you are describing sounds exactly like my planet, except it looks very different. And you were drawn to Sedona, and it's very similar to the red planet. I was drawn to the forest, which is very similar to my planet. And so, with those ideas in mind, what is the connection between you and I and the exploration of these planets or other dimensions?
Yeah, that was your life where you are operating in a consciousness closest to your higher self.
Mhm.
Does that feel right?
100%. Yeah.
That's what I get. That is your red planet, so to speak. Like
Mhm.
that is your life. So my question is, how does I'm using my experience like this. It's taken me 5 years to get here, relying on it to the point where I can explore it, believing it in believing in it enough that I can explore it. But I'm wondering, how can Steph use that connection more in her life today? So I asked that question, Steph, and I want you to pay attention. Now I'm acting like the hypnotist while I'm being hypnotized. Does my control know no bounds? Okay. So you pay attention to what comes to mind too.
Okay.
I know you're halfway to this planet anyway. um, because I'm getting the sense of here's my read on it. So listen, but also pay attention to what's coming in your head about it. my read on what you do with that is what anyone can do with it. You can lean into it, explore it, try to embody more of it, ask questions. If that's what makes you feel light and creative and passionate and excited, makes you want to get out of bed in the morning, then yes, do that. And what we can get from our higher self is what we can get from that lifetime where we embodied a consciousness that was the closest to our divine self, that higher knowing, inner guidance, our higher self. And so just like we can go to a past life, or we have been, to get clarity on something or embody something different, this is a way to really embody that higher, the highest and greatest version of you, and bring more of it into your life today. And naturally, when we start channeling that energy into our life today, we naturally run into friction and hit walls and whatever. There's explosions along the way. And all you have to do is know that if you're connected to the highest and greatest version of yourself, whether that's higher self meditations, doing that higher self journey that's on this podcast, or doing a session or whatever, you can do that by staying in contact with your higher self. But if you need more tangibles, more examples, more experiences, then yeah, you're going to want to go to that life where you embodied a consciousness that was like right there.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to give you insights and wisdom on how to move through this life. And life will always life. Life is relative. Things will always feel easy or hard. We aim to find that neutrality, but we don't have to create or go looking for problems. It's just there. So as we're trying to live in the highest and greatest version of us, and things, we run into problems or big things we need to change or whatever, that it's every problem that you work through gets easier. Because if you think of it as the vibration of lower, denser vibration, harder to move, more elevated, expanded vibration, easier to kind of float and flit around, when we're in a lighter state, when these negative things hit us, it's such a small percentage of who we are that we're able to hold it, think clearly about it, and not be agitated by it. And so the more expanded and elevated and loving and compassionate that we get, the easier it is to deal with, the less that other stuff brings us down for
Hmm.
longer. So then it's easier to deal with it. So you could use it however you want. And I'm sure you're getting ideas of questions you could ask your higher self or that lifetime, or understand what you were doing and what's that version of quote help that you could execute here. Can you continue that mission in a different way here? And again, if it's all made up, we should probably all be writing fiction novels and or whatever. And it's good lessons to live by. No one who hears a red planet message is going, that's sick or twisted or slanted. It's all good things to live by. If we all lived by it, this would be a better place. And no one can deny that. And that's how it is with everyone's higher self. It's not that, I mean, I am special. No one can have a red planet experience like mine, but everyone has an experience opportunity like this
Mm-hmm.
for themselves, whatever their glasses are.
Yeah. So, yeah, keep going if there's anything else, and let me know when you're ready to receive what I felt.
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay.
Yep.
So I saw on my planet, just like in my dream, the pods, and we all had our own pods. And in those pods were the higher selves of each of those individuals. So what I saw is like our higher selves are all a part of a council. And just like I am connecting with you on this earthly realm, we are kind of reporting back to our higher self in some way through our experiences. So they can view our experiences through a lens or just through our connection to our higher self. And then they integrate and understand it in order to grow and expand. So it's like our higher self is always growing and expanding. It's just about how we move through our life. Like that's kind of what they gain from it. And each of us
Mm.
connect through our higher self counsel in order to expand our understanding through like a variety of perspectives, awareness, and experiences. So your planet is much different from mine. That's much different from Julie's. But when we come together and tell our stories, we each get to experience a part of all of those worlds. And so it's like a coming together of different viewpoints from different councils that just kind of make this instead of a sphere. Anyway, that's the view I got.
Every experience is logged
Mhm.
by the greater energy that we are.
Mhm.
And the other thing I got for this, when we come together and share our stories, it helps. Oh, I feel like there's a couple threads here. It's like a greater metaphor for that. It's about seeing the great things, the way of life in these places. They would be similar.
Mhm.
And what it illustrates is the similarities in a human. Sounds like a no-brainer, but it's worth highlighting.
Mhm.
Like, it's what makes us happy is actually kind of the same on a soul level anyway, not like in a 3D, what's your Monday morning look like, but overall community, love, belonging, that sort of thing, and sustaining that effortlessly if we can.
Yeah.
um, and but what it also shows us is that that is true, and the way we perceive things is completely different.
Mhm.
Your planet, the way you illustrated it, is different than mine, is different than everyone's, right?
Mhm.
And so it is practice for the human mind who's listening to those stories to say, oh, I agree with this, but this part of that story I don't resonate with. There's no hate to have. There's no giant conclusion to draw about that person, about yourself. It's just literally that message is good. Don't resonate with the other one. And that ability to come neutral with full awareness, and that's what people need. But we're expecting people to do that in the arena of religion and politics and things that there's so much emotion about. But if we can practice that expansive state of just letting go, and sometimes letting go is don't grab onto it in the first place. How about, like,
Yeah.
don't grab onto that hate.
Mhm.
You know, if three people come together and they had three different experiences, but the overarching theme and benefits of the experience are the same, it's good for people to hear that. It's good for people to experience it. It's good for people to see the human filter, because especially in this world, we're so polarized, but every single person thinks that they're right. I mean, name the worst person in history. They thought they were doing good.
Mhm.
That belief is so powerful.
Yeah.
And so to be able to kind of loosen that grip of judgment
Mhm.
and be able to kind of see the human filter and extract the good, to hopefully, someone is this far into a podcast like this, like,
Mhm.
they're interested in it, on a spiritual level. And so they're going to take these things and apply it to their life and see, oh, it's okay if my experience is different from other people. It's still valuable. It's still true. It's still valid. And it seems so simple, but, for most of the population who doesn't fit the square box of get good grades, go to college for many years, get good grades, get your corporate job. And, if you don't fit into the box, you're constantly told you're wrong. And here it's also another exercise. And like, you don't have to fit into a box. Like, just figure out what the inside of your box looks like. You don't have to be in it all the time. But figure out that before you're judging other people's boxes. Because we're all in a box.
Yeah.
We're all thinking in a box. We're all limited by our beliefs
Mm-hmm.
and those perspectives and, the lens or whatever.
Yeah.
Steph, I'm curious, do you feel drawn to explore more of it?
Yeah, definitely. So are there any other messages before we come back?
The life that I lived on that red planet, as I keep getting I don't know what my name is, but the letter A keeps coming to mind. But life as A on that planet,
Mm.
the one who called my consciousness in or whatever 2 sessions ago, it would be like maybe getting more curious about that life in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who is she? What does she do? Um, what's her social life like? What's just kind of the mundane things that we can absorb when we experience another lifetime. But otherwise, yeah, I have all these questions and it's like I can't get off the consciousness question.
It's almost like she's the main hub, right, of like consciousness for all of the different variations of Gina. So yeah, so many questions.
She's like the culmination of all the lessons.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
She's living a life with all of that in bloom,
Mm-hmm.
all the lessons of all the other lifetimes where I'm
Yeah.
struggling or whatever. Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
What a amazing thing to think about though. That puts into perspective for sure.
Yeah.
Amazing. Returning to the present moment, I'm going to count from 5 to 1. When I reach 1, you can open your eyes, taking all of this beautiful wisdom with you. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Oof. Where I was the whole time, kind of outside what I thought was like a tent or whatever, I've been there so many times and I was just meandering like an aimless walk
Mm-hmm.
around it. It was so soothing. And that is our episode for today. I created this podcast to showcase my work and the benefits of hypnosis and exploring the unseen realms around us. I've been a client of hypnosis and these journeys since 2013. I've been leading clients on these journeys since 2018. Having these experiences has made me more honest, responsible, aware. It's made me feel more in touch with who I am and my purpose in this life. My hope in sharing this work is that more people become introspective, process their life, and begin creating something even more beautiful. You can learn more about my work at seersessions.com.